What's up, y'all? Good Monday. Good to see y'all. Listen, y'all. If y'all don't know, this is TFG Tonight, and I'm your host, Mr. Haynes. And this is the best morning show that you can watch at night. Y'all listen, that's Devin, that's Lee, and that's Kenny.
I'm trying to be nice.
Black said we got two Americans.
Say to my brother Black, man, I think you could be a preacher. I ain't never heard somebody that use a curse word and then read a scripture right after. You know?
So let me state for the record, I am a misogynist. You know,
Pull out your card, Doc. He's
and I'm a chauvinist as well. Anybody who knows me knows that.
That's right.
Now I can go back to minding my own business.
True.
Either that boy is Benjamin Button or somebody lying.
And listen, and that boy may be mentally 12, but he's 34.
You bad boy, you don't do it again.
I'll let Black articulate a little bit better than that.
Nope.
Okay.
Never mind.
It's good for the soul. It's like medicine. Right?
Yeah, for real.
That's all I gotta say. I wish I had one of them applause buttons too, like that.
Good morning, y'all. Happy Monday.
Hey, y'all. It's Monday, and we here. All right. I'm excited. And this is a special episode, and so I sure hope y'all brought y'all comments today. We ain't seen y'all in like 7 days. Y'all, listen, I'm not gonna play around. It's Monday Night Football, and there's a great game on. Psych. What up, bruh? Gentlemen.
What up?
What's going on? What's up?
Y'all, I just want to say, Demi, what's going on? Oh, I'm so appreciative of that. Thank you so much.
What's up, Miss Demi? We appreciate
you, Miss Demi.
We're gonna keep it
Much
going.
love
We waiting on you to do your show now too, so you come on now.
Right.
Y'all, listen, Devin's birthday was last week, and you know what I'm saying, she don't have to tell us nothing until the last minute, so that's what she do. So anyway, she gone, but she said she gonna get in these comment streets, so we're gonna see. But if she find a signal, she said she'll jump on here, but we may not be able to recognize she got that tan going on. So I'm pretty sure she's out there probably half drunk and you know, enjoying herself and all that kind of stuff. So, but if she make it on here, so be it. If not, it's all good. We brothers can hold it down, like, you know. So we've been needing to do another Black love story. So I'm going to join. Okay, all right.
Come on board.
Yeah. Oh, I'll put the link in there for you. Let me know. You want to get on here tonight too? You come on. Listen, we're doing a special episode of Black Love series. I think we'll do one more before the year's up, but we're gonna try to do this maybe once every 3 months, man, because there's a lot out here to talk about in these communities, right? And so what better way to do it but to have conversation? But before we get started, I know you ladies, y'all love to hear this man talk, so he gonna tell y'all a little sports. And so, brother, kick us off with these sports, man.
Let's get in these sports streets, man. We're gonna get in and out of here. Obviously, we got to start off with, how about them Cowboys? Them doggone Cowboys put a whooping on those Patriots, 38-3. That was Bill Belichick's worst loss as a head coach, and he's been a head coach over 29 years. So Cowboys did their thing. Now, was that a good win? Was that a good win versus a? It's kind of two ways to look at it. I don't know if it was a good win because the Patriots is really a trash team in my opinion right now. Right. But a win is a win. They professionals. They put their pads and jerseys on just like any other team. So you got to take a win for what it is. The Cowboys got back on track. But next Sunday is going to definitely be the test to see where these Cowboys at, because they will be traveling to San Fran to take on, in my opinion, the best team in the NFL, the San Francisco 49ers, on Sunday Night Football. So, again, Cowboys, they got the win 38-3. Now, let's talk about the Colorado Buffaloes head coach, Coach Prime. Most people probably turned away from this game at the half. If you did, shame on you, because that second half, Colorado made this thing a game.
They went to work.
They went to work. Colorado would end up coming up short, 48-41. But Shedeur Sanders had a great second half, threw for almost 400 yards. USC quarterback Caleb Williams threw for 6 touchdowns, 400 yards, tied his season best. But it also showed me that USC Trojans defense is straight trash. They defense is trash. Unless their offense gonna score some points, they ain't gonna do nothing. Colorado, they lost 2 in a row, but you know, Coach Prime got these young men playing football, man, and they didn't give up. So hats off to Coach Prime and Colorado, even with the loss. They got another big one coming up next weekend when they head to Arizona State. And my last sports topic for the night, we had a big trade that went down on Wednesday. Damian Lillard was finally traded from the Portland Trailblazers to my hometown, Bruce City, the Milwaukee Bucks.
Man.
It was part of a 3-team trade. The Suns sent DeAndre Ayton to Portland and some other players. Then we had another big trade. Drew Holiday from the Bucks went to the Trailblazers. Then yesterday, Trailblazers traded Drew Holiday to the Boston Celtics. And there you have it. That's my sports in about, 3.5 minutes. I'll toss it back to you guys.
Man, I appreciate that, bro. Listen, hey, Demi, yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. She'll appreciate that. What's up, Craig? Good to see you, man. Good to see you, man. I hope you all brought y'all comments, man. We ready to have a good conversation today. So, ladies and gentlemen, y'all, I want to remind you all of 2 things. Lead on drinking. Well, no, you back.
Yeah, but I'm not drinking.
Oh, Angel.
I drank one time while I was on it.
All right. I get
Swag.
so number 2, this is a whole episode of Black Love series. So I went and got some topics that I feel like we can cover in depth, but we'll do our best, even though you sisters are not represented by Devin. So y'all talk to us today so we can make this thing as interactive as we can. So I know Demi will, I know Craig will, and all the rest of y'all is back there watching backstage. Y'all talk to us. So listen, we established about, it's been almost 5 months ago, Black love is not about 2 black people in a relationship. We're black, and so we love. And the way we love is it depends on who we are with and the creativity in our love, and it's just who you are and who you love. And so it's no more, no less. And so it's not just about that. Oh, look at her. She said, glad you're black.
Thank you.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Yes. So listen, y'all, we're going to talk about the complexities of relationships between black people and whoever. But I wanted to open us up really easy. But I wanted to talk about something, generational curses. This is normally talked about through religious backgrounds, but I just want to establish a definition that the internet gives, but then we're going to talk about it, right? It says a generational curse is a habit or behavior that has been passed from one generation to the next. That's interesting in itself. It says parents strive to make sure that the life they lead will help their children live a better one. Children practice what they have learned on their own and what they have gathered from generations before them. I don't think that's the same definition that old folks used to give back in the day. So we'll see though, right? Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate it. So Kenny, what have you heard and what has been told you about a generational curse? And then I got some questions for us.
That definition pretty much I think it nailed it. My whole concept is on it. Miss Tori.
Fantastic.
Got good news from the Cleveland Clinic. My husband,
Mr. Williams.
All
Mr.
right.
Williams. Congratulations,
and
brother.
The 2 spots is infection started him. Good.
Yes,
Hey, Miss
yes.
Tori, God is good. The most high is working, and we definitely, that's some great news to hear. And we still definitely going to be sending love that way for him, and you as well. So I know that was probably tough on you as well as his wife.
That's
so
right.
Tell the Mister that.
He's listening. Yeah.
Hey, Mister.
Good job, sir. Yes,
good
sir.
Job, sir.
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
Yeah. And
and
them Ravens gonna probably make it to the Super Bowl just because of what you. Cause I know you're a Baltimore fan.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
So good deal, sir.
Yeah. Good stuff. Yes, sir. Yeah. Go ahead, brother. My bad.
Back to the generational curses. I look at that as you know, the black family is always been brought up and big on tradition. We always been big on, well, grandma and granddaddy and them did it that way, then that has to be the best way to do it. Well, sometimes grandmama and granddaddy and great grandmama and them didn't know how to do it, and they were doing the best they could, but it wasn't the right way. And we take those teachings and pass that along to our offspring, and we keep on getting the same thing over and over again. We're not getting it right, you know. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, getting the same results. And that's what generational curses are. And I think that's big in our community, unfortunately.
Yeah. All right, we have our residential reverend here, and Reverend Black, don't tell these folks about these generational curses, bro.
Well, when I think about this, especially as it pertains to the Black Love series, I'm measuring it in two different ways: familial love and romantic love. And it really hits home with me in so many ways. My family, like so many families, we were from the South, and then we migrated to the North. And I bring that up because they brought along with them all of those Southern traditions from way back, you know, and that was applied to us. And I think about from a familial sense, it's 11 of us. There wasn't a lot of affection in the house. Number one, we didn't grow up with a father. I have no idea what a father figure looks like. I have no idea what a grandmother figure looks like, to be personally honest with you, because they brought with them all of those generational norms, where back then in Meridian, Mississippi, you had 3 generations living in one house. And so there was a lot going on in families, and Tyler Perry has highlighted a lot of this in families, lots of secrets and skeletons, incest and abuse and things like that. And that played out in my own family. I literally have 2 sisters that we didn't find out until their son's 18th birthday that they shared the same man. Because back then things were kept so hush hush and, you know, under the, and a lot of these things were passed along because they brought that mindset that a half a man is better than no man at all. You know, then even when you think about how it played out in a romantic sense in my family, these generational curses, we did what we saw. You know, my mom is 11 of us and probably 8 different baby daddies. I'm just keeping it as real as I know how to be. And so when I look at my brothers and sisters, not one of us has more than 3 children. Watching my mother struggle without a man being present and having been taken advantage of, started having children since she was 16 years old, it left an indelible mark on us in terms of how we viewed love and relationships. And for me, I'm grateful that I left home at 17 because I was able to break free of a lot of that and establish a different pattern. But we're still struggling through that now. We got cousins and brothers and sisters that we still are clicked up and don't deal with each other. And that stain that's on our family, it's on a lot of families. So I think about that from that perspective.
Yeah. So for me, the way I used to hear generational curses, especially biblically, it was almost like a spiritual punishment that was passed down kind of in your lineage. Like, but again, in its logical form, you're only going to do what you were taught to do. And here it is. It was once said by a writer that when you know better, you should start to do better. And here we are. We are the most educated we've ever been. We have access to the more information than we ever had before. And again, we still won't. We again, Kenny, you used the word insanity, which is doing something expecting a different result. So unfortunately, yes, they did teach us that generational curses existed, but it was as some sort of spiritual punishment. No, they only exist because everybody kept doing the same thing over and over again. Why? Because that's what they were taught.
Right.
So again, you don't use it to try to, because people they use it and they used to try to manipulate you and make you feel some type of way about your bad behavior and that you couldn't overcome it. No, No,
Right.
there are certain things that I was exposed to that I will never expose my children to.
Right.
Right? I ain't breaking
Right.
no generational curse. Well, fine. If you want to call it that, well, fine. I'll break it because I won't exacerbate that bad behavior. Okay, how about that? Go ahead, Black.
And I want to add the flip side to that coin.
Okay.
Because on the other side of that coin, things that worked aren't being passed down either. Many of the things that were traditional and that really did work. I just had a conversation about 3 or 4 days. Me, my sister, and my niece was on the phone, and it got extremely heated because to see my niece, who's 35 years old, and she touted the fact that in her generation, this TikTok generation, they can Google anything they want from TikTok. And based on that, they're so much further ahead than us. And I had to take a step back and let her wallow in her own ignorance because I said, well, you're actually proving my point for me. It's amazing that you're walking around and you're the generation that don't know what a rotary phone is. Most of you haven't been to a library. You know what I'm saying?
Don't know how to read a map.
You know, I mean,
person.
simple
Yeah.
things
Can't
like that.
write
And you're
person,
walking
right.
around with a sophisticated computer in your hand and don't know shit. And yes, I said it that way. And that's because for their generation, they've sped up things so fast and information comes in so many different ways, but they fail to realize that getting burst of information from the TikTok generation in 3-minute spurts, you don't know shit. And so the traditions that you needed to have learned, the basics of how to cook, be responsible, take care of yourselves, and be accountable, that's been lost.
Yeah.
But I said to her as we ended the conversation, as I always say, we're going to agree to disagree without being disagreeable, and I'm going to let life be your teacher.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's a great point to kind of move from that point. It's only a generational curse if you don't learn from the mistakes your ancestors made.
Right.
So again, you're right, and there is a danger in having too much information before you're able to have the wisdom or the maturity to process it.
Yeah, if you can't comprehend the information or understand it, then
That's right.
It's not doing you any good at all. So I get it. Yeah.
I've taught all of my children how to drive, and I'm on my third one. And this third one is really interesting because just because you can drive to work and that's taking 2 lefts and a right, that don't mean you can get on the freeway.
Right. Exactly.
My brother, and they don't get that concept.
They don't
get
you know,
yeah.
the information is there. You can pull up on YouTube and it can tell you how to change a transmission, but you want me to believe just because it's showing there that you know what you're doing more than a master mechanic who's been doing that for 25 years?
Yeah.
Come on now.
Yeah.
Right.
Craig says one generational curse that comes to mind. Is teen pregnancy. You tend to find that teens who get pregnant were also born of a teen mother themselves. Again, those behaviors, right? And again, I just don't want us to make it a supernatural thing. It is very much logical, and it's very much you have the ability not to rehash it or continue to exacerbate it. Just do better. Right. Again, that's all I'm making it out to be. What'd you say, Demi? She says it can cause you to be emotionally handicapped and a slave to change if it's not properly cultivated. Yeah, exactly. My whole point right there. Plus, they do not even realize that Google has been proven wrong so many times. They want to. Man, I'm telling you, and that's anyway. Miss Toria, you gonna make me take a rabbit hole? I ain't gonna take that rabbit hole. I got too many topics to talk about. So
preach, Miss Demi.
Yes, Miss Toria. Yeah, for sure. So, so that's generational curses. Again, we just touching on it just so that we can start having the conversation about it. Again, let's not make it so much spiritual as though there is nothing we can do to change the habitualness of bad behavior. No, you have the right to change that when you know better, just do better. Don't let nobody put that hex on you like you spooky or something. No, ain't nothing wrong with you. You just been around some fools. Just get away from them. All right. Let's go. What you said? Oh yeah, you got that right, Miss Tori. Yeah, we agree with you on that one, Craig. All right, y'all. Listen, manipulation. I felt this was important because I listened to a few of our conversations in some past shows, and this is one thing I wanted to ask you all: is it ever a good thing in a relationship to manipulate? Is it ever a good reason to manipulate in a relationship?
No, I don't. Personally speaking, no. That could cause a dysfunction in your relationship if one person is manipulative.
Okay.
That would make me not want to trust that woman if there's manipulation involved in our relationship. How can I trust you?
Okay. All right. I like that. All right. Black, is there ever a good reason to manipulate in a relationship?
Absolutely.
I knew we weren't going to agree on this one.
You know, but I'm gonna surprise you. And after I finish, you might say,
Agree.
okay, I didn't look at it that way.
Yeah.
I think sometimes words, it draws a negative connotation when
Correct.
sometimes it doesn't have to be. You know,
Yeah.
You think about this generation. We just finished talking about generational curses. They want to remove the word obey out of your marital vows because it has such a negative connotation. Obey you, blah, 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 blah. When in reality, and I think you love this part, Brother Brenton, if you really want a successful marriage and God is the head and we're supposed to obey him. So if it's not a dirty word there, why? So anyway, when I think of manipulation, I was literally having this conversation with someone recently. When two people are yoked together, one person's personality or characteristics are going to rub off on the other. The Bible even tells us, what fellowship does light have with darkness? If I meet a woman, and I'm going to use a real example, I don't go to church. I'm an inactive Jehovah's Witness. That for me is it's never going to happen. But let's say if she's a churchgoer. Now, I have certain religious celebrations that I celebrate. She celebrates. Over time, manipulation could play a part in rubbing off on one person or the other, and it might not necessarily be for the worse. See, when we think of the word manipulation, we always think about it from a negative connotation that somebody is scheming in such a way. But what if you are in the relationship, the older, the wiser, and you have their best interests at heart, and then you actually manipulate situations and circumstances for the betterment of that person and the household, because you can see decisions that they maybe cannot see. And so when I see it that way, I think there is a time and a place for manipulation for me.
No, brother. No, you can no.
So,
We agree to disagree on that.
Gotcha.
because from that scenario you just mentioned, now that person that's doing that is a form of being controlling too. So now you're saying that you're trying to manipulate me to be something that I may not want to be to fit your standards. So now you want to control me and manipulate me at the same time. Nah,
Gotcha.
I can't.
Craig, thank you.
That's just my. That's
Yeah,
the way
yeah.
I see
No,
it.
I love it.
Yeah.
I
Let's
love
go.
it. You know,
Yeah,
and
Craig.
again, we definitely disagree because I don't see it that way. I look at the fact that when I use my own personal example, when I got married, my wife had no idea whatsoever how to run a house. She literally moved from my mama's house to my house. I certainly had to manipulate the way the house runs for it to be effective, because if I just let it run, there would be chaos. And so this wasn't about me imposing my will on her. I knew it would bring her up as far as experience and to be a better wife. And then there were instances where she actually rubbed off on me. And because, again, I married somebody that wasn't just like me. I wanted somebody that brought something different. Even dated women that was the opposite of. Can you imagine me dating a woman just like me? So I wanted
No.
somebody. So I
No, I
wanted
couldn't.
somebody that the women that I generally have chose, they don't drink, they don't smoke, they don't whore around. They so that level of maybe getting to meet me to come over to that side sometime. So that's what I mean when I say manipulation. I don't see it as negative.
Right. So Craig says, and I'm glad he brought in some analogies. It happens more than we realize, and that's true. Using sex to get what you want is a form of manipulation. Exactly. Guilt
Right.
tripping your partner is
Right.
also a form of manipulation. That's true. And I
Right.
want to say this:
And I agree with all that.
a word.
Go ahead.
So black used it in a way that it's really about how we define the term. And so if I took away the word manipulation and I said influence,
That's a yeah.
it's
Because
manipulation.
well,
So
no. Let's see. No.
to manipulate,
influence and manipulation are
it's a
totally
it's
two
a
different
sim
things.
it's a synonym.
It's
They're not. They different.
It's a synonym.
Mhm.
It's a synonym of manipulation.
And
And I'm gonna tell you why.
Okay, I'm listening. But
So if
I think they different though.
Sure,
Mhm.
sure,
Go ahead.
and that's fair. And
Yeah.
and again, it's just for conversation.
Oh yeah. No
Here it
doubt.
is. When we come to, if I said I want to influence my wife to see if she can, do that special thing for me. Sure, that sounds innocent. But if I say I want to manipulate my wife so that she'll do that special thing for me, it comes across with more devious intent. But it's the same term. It's just, here it is. It's when a person who is a person that has bad intent uses the word, then of course it comes across wrong. But the reality is, as Craig stated, it's being used quite often when you are with your children. You manipulate them. Why? Because you want them to do certain things. So we say influence because it comes across a lot nicer, but it's still manipulation.
And that's where
Anytime-
intent. That's
Yeah,
the word.
intent.
Intent
Mhm.
matters to me.
Yeah.
To me.
Sure. Miss Tori says, my mama and granny taught me how to cook, clean, and run a household. I was prepared well for married life. All right. That's it. Demi says, to manipulate in some cases can be the act of bending, pruning, and willing to allow change to invoke. Again, it's how we use the term.
That's how I see it.
Yeah. And so and again, there, in my opinion and in my perspective, there are good reasons when you have my best interest at heart. Right? Because if I'm
to be manipulated.
And here's the reason why. Because if I'm angry and my wife needs to get me to calm down, well, guess what? She's going to try to get my attention. Hey, because I'm about to go off, and she's like, no, babe, focus me here. Give me sugar, whatever. Hey.
That's why I said I purposely have always chose a woman that's so different from me, because I needed that influence. That, you know what? I know when I'm with her, I'm not going to drink as much. I'm not going to do certain things because that's not what she does. So her level of behavior, her characteristics rubs off on me. And so that's why I say it just, to me, it gets a bad rap.
Yeah.
That's the power of words.
Yeah.
Yes. Words are very powerful.
Sure.
And it's about intent. You guys are spot on with that.
Yeah. I think a lot of bad people use it though, especially when you're good at it. Yeah, a lot of bad, and they use it for bad reasoning, because also it's the yin and the yang, right? Because the bad of it is you take advantage of people.
Yes, and that's where I agree with Brother Kenny. Yeah,
go ahead, Black.
I was done, brother.
No, so influence. So you saying influence and manipulation can be used interchangeably? In your opinion,
yeah, they have. Well, that's how it's defined. Even like it's
well, influence. And I'm looking it up. Y'all know,
sure. Listen, brother.
Influence. You know. I'm gonna go look it up. Influence. The definition of influence is the capacity to have an effect on the character development or behavior of someone or something, or the effect itself.
Okay,
that is the definition of influence.
All right.
I literally finished talking as an example. That's why I said about somebody's character influencing my own. That's literally.
It's the good and the bad of an individual, because you can have somebody that has charisma and they can use it in such a way to influence people to do right, but they can also have a bad to it that they can use it for personal gain.
Exactly. And here's the definition of manipulation.
Okay.
My brothers, I'm taking y'all down this street.
Come on.
Manipulation is the exercise of harmful influence over others. People who manipulate others attack their mental and emotional sides to get what they want. That's why I say I can't trust you if you're trying to manipulate me. Now,
Okay.
I love that. I love that you just did that.
If you want to influence me, I'm all ears. I'm willing to you to show me something different. But if you use manipulation as your game plan, no, sister, I can't rock with you.
And I love that you just did that. Do you guys remember the movie Malcolm X?
Mhm.
Yes.
And there was a famous scene when he was converting at the very beginning, and he asked the guy, he said, well, why are we learning from this dictionary? And what was his answer? He said, because we have to know this in order to truly understand what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is teaching. That's where I say words and definitions. So that's why I'm even standing on the fact that it has such a negative connotation. Because if we go back 20 years ago and we looked at the vows of love, honor, and obey, it was looked at in a positive light.
Right.
That today in 2023, if you look up those vows, it has a negative connotation and definition. So it changes over time. So that's why I said, for me, I'm still looking, but I get where you're coming from. So if we're going to go by the letter of the law, you're absolutely right.
Well,
You're
and
absolutely
I won't say he's absolutely right.
Yeah, and I get both of you guys, my brothers. I get y'all point. You know, the key word in manipulation for me that makes it different than influence is harmful. Anytime somebody manipulates you, it's harmful. That's the key word in manipulation. That for me, that changes.
Right. But see, for me, I broaden my thought process because I can manipulate tools. If I had a device and I can use, you know how they'll give you things and say, use this in 10 different ways. Well, you're manipulating those things to make it do something different. And I think for me, in your definition, yeah, that may be a definition in that term, but I think contextually, you can't say that because everybody doesn't manipulate harmfully. Because again, in manipulating, it's about intent.
That's the intent.
Right.
Yeah.
I get that.
The greatest speakers, that's
manipulate
what makes them
the
great.
words. Yeah.
You know.
But it's still harmful though.
You can be Martin Luther King and move a congregation. And again, we just don't like the word manipulate.
Their hearts, yeah.
You know, but then you can be Hitler and also move that crowd.
And that's a whole nother rabbit hole.
Oh, yeah.
But for people to deny that Hitler wasn't a great speaker,
oh no, he was.
He really was.
Oh, he was.
But the intent. But there was the intent.
It was intent. I get it.
There's the intent.
And that's what made it manipulative. He was manipulative because he had harmful influences.
And see, I think both of them manipulated, move a crowd for me.
Yeah,
okay.
You know, for sure.
So
I see it. Yeah. So
okay.
So I get that, and I guess that's why we cannot just take everybody's thoughts for face value. That's why we need to have conversation. And we do not do that, right? Because again, what I interpret and what you interpret can be different on two totally different levels that can take a conversation in a whole different direction if we don't learn to communicate with each other.
A good point, Brent. And then it's about human experience. Every one of us are brothers, by the way, but we all have different life experiences.
Absolutely.
So what manipulation may mean to me, again, like Brother Black said, it doesn't mean that to him or you, Brother Brent, because we came from different life experiences. So I definitely get what you brothers are saying. Don't get me wrong. I get it.
But, you just better not see nobody doing it in a harmful manner. Yes, sir.
Because you're gonna get it. You're gonna get it.
Yeah, man. I'm with you on that one. Okay, man. Great stuff, Craig. Black influenced quite a few people, man, with his words.
Yeah, he does. Black good with them words, Craig.
He said you gave him different perspective on that one, Black. So that's all right, man. Yes, sir. I appreciate that. Well, let me see if I can't move some hearts on this one, man. Y'all be careful about this. Hold on. I wanted to do God in the bedroom.
Here we go.
I wanted to do helpmate.
Mm.
All right, I'm glad it's just us right now, because yeah, I'm glad it's just us right now. Although I was wanting to hear, and I really
That's.
want
I was
to
going to say this is where I miss a
Yes.
female
One more
perspective.
That's right.
Me too.
That's right.
I agree. But we
That's
got
right.
Demi. We got Demi in the comments.
Oh, yeah.
We got
Demi,
Miss
we need
Victoria.
you.
Yeah, y'all come
Victoria in
on
the
now.
Demi
comments,
Story, we
so-
need you.
Yeah, and all y'all other ones. So let's take a look at this. Again, it's almost like organically going back down the street again of just what we were taught, right? So
Right.
helpmate, right? It normally stems from the Bible. That's where we got that term. Ken said, "Here we go." Yeah, Demi, come on. All right, so in the Bible, preachers have used that, and God made woman, and she was a helpmate. Brothers, how did y'all hear it, or how do y'all take it? And then I'll take us down the street, because it came across, well, at least the way they would introduce it to folks in the congregation. Most preachers, they would say that the woman is here to help me make my money, help me with my vision, help me do what I got to do. You know what I'm saying? And again, we're talking about thought processes without the lack of understanding. And they took a play on word that the Bible told Adam that it was not good for man to be alone, and that he needed a suitable helpmate. And so, how y'all hear that?
Okay, I'll go first.
Mhm.
So again, I'm going to look at it from two different lenses. So, and I love what you said in that last segment, Brother Kenny. You know, this is an individual perception, because we're all different people and raised with different views and values. So for me, I've already stated that I'm an inactive Jehovah's Witness, but that is my belief system. For those who also don't know me, I am a bona fide chauvinist through and through.
They saw it in the intro.
So having said that,
right.
from a scriptural perspective, when I think about scripturally, so I am one that don't believe a woman should be a preacher.
Okay.
When I read that scripture, I look at it in a sense. For me, I process it as a woman was built to be a helper. To man is to take the lead. Now, of course, man's leadership should come from a godly place. Again, with God and Jesus being the head over him. So, from a scriptural perspective, when I hear the word helpmate, I'm going to process it from that perspective. Now, let me translate that into the Black Love series kind of thing. This is where my chauvinism comes into play. When I look at the current state of relationships, I think that's one of the biggest problems that I see, is that there is no clearly defined leader in the relationship. In our quest to be equals, I think we've screwed the whole damn thing up. I see couples all the time that even when it comes to something simple as their finances, you have a separate bank account, and I have a separate bank account. You pay this bill, and I pay this bill. I run my household. Now, maybe that's why I'm still single.
Maybe
I need a woman to be a helpmate in the sense that I'm out there making decisions, and that's the way my mind is set, that I'm thinking of it on a macroeconomic level.
Okay.
And so I'm thinking about long-term effects of where we're going down this road and what has to happen. And so I'm going to be making decisions for the betterment of the household for both of us. And I'm going to take the lead in that. Now, that doesn't mean that she doesn't get to make decisions, because I definitely need her input. I wouldn't have married you, or even not married. I wouldn't be with you. I wouldn't want an intelligent woman that wouldn't be beside me. I need your input. In fact, you might even be more intelligent than me, but I'm trusting you to trust me to be the leader, because I can't follow.
Mhm.
Not in that sense. So in that sense, that's how I look at Black love. And for me, I'm a man. I'm going to be the man in the relationship. Now, there are no defined duties in terms of I can't wash dishes, and stuff like that, because I do all those domestic things, and quite frankly, better than most women. But I'm talking about in terms of Black love, you are my helper, because I'm taking the lead. And that's the only way I know how to do it.
Okay. All right, Kenny. You done gave you a couple minutes to think.
You know, just going back to my upbringing and my rearing, and I grew up Church of God in Christ, Kojic. So just remembering them talking about the woman being the helpmate, help whatever. I never really even gave it any real serious thought until I got into my adulthood. Okay. And in my opinion, for the Black Love series, a lot of what Black say, I definitely agree with. I think we're at a point where the lines have been blurred on, and when it comes to the Black love relationship, a lot of women say they want a man to lead, and they're gonna be willing to follow him as long as he's leading in the right direction. But then on the flip side, they be a hypocrite and say, well, I am every woman and I can do and I make all this money and ain't no man gonna run and tell me what to do, yada, yada, yada. So that's where we are now with Black love. The lines have been blurred, like Black say, and as Black men, we don't know where we fit in. If we lead and when we come in and try to show you we want to lead, then you say we controlling and being Ike Turner. If we don't, then you look at us as being soft, and he ain't got no leadership abilities. So the helpmate has turned into help me understand what the hell helpmate is.
Oh, I love it. Okay, yeah. Well, number one, I'm telling y'all right now, even for the position that y'all given, there's some clowns out here. They couldn't help me out of a paper bag. They couldn't lead you. They couldn't lead you from the exit sign if it was staring them in the face. So I feel sorry for some of these women that want some of these men to lead, because I mean, listen, they just ignorant. But when it comes to the authority of Scripture, I just have to clear it up that they can't. They pull that out like George Washington pulled an apple off the tree. That's not what that means, in my perspective and in the way I looked in Scripture. So if you guys, let me read what Demi says. I need and want a man to lead me as I stand beside him, not behind as a child. Woman being able to do more in the workforce is great, but I personally don't subscribe to emasculating my man. Yeah. What you say, Craig? The term helpmeet is another word that has a negative connotation, but a wife being a helpmeet is simply helping her husband where he is deficient. So I'm going to take that spot right there that you just said, Craig, and here it is. The deficiency, if you take it in Scripture, it was because if you go read your Bible, those that subscribe to it, and I'll talk to those that don't, but if you read your Bible, if you go back as God was doing the creation thing, he was putting animals together and they were procreating with like kind. So an elephant wasn't procreating with a giraffe, and a cow wasn't procreating with a goat. Right. So as the man was going around and he was naming all the animals, he said, how are we going to get Adam can't mate with these animals? So we need to find him a suitable help mate, because there's a term, right? Mating season. And what type of season do you, when you mate, that means you are procreating. So the helpmate in that Genesis chapter was talking about Adam having someone that could assist in the will of God, which was to be fruitful and multiply. So in that term, and they taken it and put all these little isms on that, and that was not what that was. And again, when you take it and you try to put the lens of truth behind some of the people's definition, it don't add up. Because if your husband ain't in his right frame of mind, what in the world are you going to wait for him to lead you for? So again, that it could, again, don't take the authority of Scripture and try to manipulate, right? So that you can get what you want. It don't work like that. Now, again, here is the whole point of being, I'll speak to all sides now. Know what you want. Demi just stated what she wants. And there are people who have her like-mindedness that want to lead, and you have women that want to follow. You have the very opposite. You have women that don't want to be led, and you have men that don't want to lead. Y'all should be hooking up. Well, here's another problem that the scripture makes clear, that how can two walk together in the same direction unless they agree? Now, good luck with that, you two who want
Right.
who want to lead, because
Right.
if y'all can't make up your minds, just like the government gave us 45 more days for the military men to have, yeah, okay, well, good luck. What'd you say, Miss Tori? I never thought about that. When all I know is we keep God first, and communication compromise has worked for us. He always values my opinion and asks for it as well. I ask him, and that's right. And that's what it boils down to. Whatever works for you. I just want people to stop using the Bible to make claim to something just because they don't know how to talk to their spouse.
Well, I have an even bigger bone to pick. Even when I look at the title, God has been taken completely out of the bedroom, out of
sure.
relationships in general. So when I read what Miss Toria talks about, that reminds me of the scripture where it talks about a threefold cord. But I even look at my own marriage and its failures. One of the biggest reasons why it failed is because God was no longer in it. I began to lean upon my own understanding, to be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah, I agree. Mine too, Black.
Mine too. I mean, I can sit here now in my older age and wisdom and see that with clarity. In that moment, I couldn't see that. Because what is it that we do as human beings when we find ourselves in a pickle? It's not natural all the time to call on God. We should. But guess what? When things are going great, that's when we don't call on God. It's when things are going bad that, oh, God, please help me. And then even in this sense, at that time, I was young and inexperienced. I felt ostracized. And me and my wife, we stopped going to meetings. We stopped having family Bible study. We stopped praying together. Because you know what? We had acquired a level of success that we didn't need God. We had houses and cars and money. We were doing the damn thing. And so money for us, that love of money, we drifted apart. Never argued, never fought. But we drifted so far apart until one day we looked up and the island wasn't there anymore. And so now, instead of calling on God, no, I leaned on my own understanding. I can fix this. But I didn't have the tools to fix it. Now, I'm 55. I got divorced at 30. That was 25 years ago. One of the reasons why I've yet to remarry is because I damn sure don't see no godly relationships out there. And most of the people, and I'm not even just talking about the nasty, filthy, no good bitches that I deal with. Some of the halfway decent women too. They don't want God in the relationship either. And that's because God has been removed. He's been replaced by science and technology and psychology and sociology and what this one said and that one said. And so in that sense, if you want to talk about Black love, that's why I said the lines are blurred. What's up is what's down. What's masculine is what's feminine now. You have women literally out here now seeking out a feminine man. Because they carry that masculine energy.
Yeah, you taking me down another street.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying, because we're gonna bring in the LGBTQ and all the trans, and you want to be a man, but you want to be with a woman.
Right.
This stuff gets really convoluted for me, man. So you're gonna take me somewhere I ain't trying to go. We'll go there on the next episode. We'll make sure we get them their room. People do not value marriage anymore or God. Only want to holler for him when trouble is upon them. I always keep him close to me every day. Good job, Miss Toria. I appreciate that. So again, I just want to make sure that if you're going to be with somebody, make sure you guys are on the same page when it comes to how things are going to operate. But I do not appreciate a man wanting to use the authority of scripture to try to manipulate in the way my brother Kenny looks at it, in a manner in which you're trying to get your wife to do the things that you want her to do because God told you to, because God said it.
Right.
That's a no-no.
Love that
Again,
Right.
that's a lot of things. Again, this country, America, was on its way to being created because men were manipulating other men and women. God, you need to do the work of God. You know what I'm saying? No.
Right.
So again, God ain't in that helpmate, because that ain't what it was. So So all right, yes, man, Craig been agreeing with Black Quiet. Man, listen, Craig.
Hey, Craig is another. Shout out to him too. Craig watches. He supports us too. I want to give him a shout out.
That's what's up.
Yeah, Craig is always watching.
God willing must be the third person in my relationship. That is the only threesome.
Okay, I heard that.
I like that.
That was good. All right, I appreciate that. All right, y'all. So listen, y'all read that Bible for yourself while these folks out here running their mouth about this.
Right.
I'm a little reluctant to talk about this because I want to talk about this with sister on here. But we'll do it. I wanted to talk about because we've normally had conversation, Black, where Devin would make comments about how women are treated, but then you would make sure that it was clear that she's only being treated that way because of who she is,
right?
Not for others.
Her attractiveness, attractiveness,
right. Okay, so again, this brought me to a place, degrees of separation, right? What and why are we willing to put up with certain things? Is it because of the way someone looks, the way they act? Because here's the reality, and I want to say this. Hopefully, Craig will like this one. Blackness. I ain't gonna let Black go first this time.
Craig don't never like the not say.
Wow.
Kenny, we can't let him go first this time.
Right. Yeah,
he be saying stuff we finna say. Craig, you'd have liked it if I'm gonna say it first.
Right.
No, just kidding. So I'm gonna tell you something. The attractiveness for me is two parts. Men are normally attracted to something that they see physically, but equally, in order to progress the relationship, I need to be attracted to your behavior, right? So it is good that I am attracted to the way you're looking, but what's going to keep this thing moving is me also being attracted to your behavior. And there's a degree of separation here where Black is right in a sense through his experience, but there is some validity in that moment. There are certain things that certain people can get away with because of the attractiveness of either the way you look or the way you behave. Right? So if, for instance, if there is a person that you go to some chicken shack 3 or 4 times a week, and the young lady at the register, all of a sudden, she before you come to the stand, she says, "Oh, you ordered the number 1 with extra blah blah blah." How you know? Well, you come in there so often, I just remembered. Now, to a man, what would that do for you, Kenny, if somebody just randomly just told you what you normally order when you come in there? You're gonna feel something.
Yes, I make me feel good.
That's right.
They paying attention to me.
That's exactly what.
A certain type of way.
That's it. And that's the reality, right? The degrees of separation is not only how you look, but it's how you behave. So when it comes to why does some women get things that others don't? Well, listen, here it is. It's a real raggedy analogy, but I'm gonna toss it to y'all. Why do y'all think these girls in these clubs making 6 figures? Because it's how they look and how they behave. Okay, so I mean, so Black, I know you already know, but I mean, just elaborate a little more on the degrees of separation. There are reasons why people get things done more than others.
Okay. Do you want me to go, Brother Kenny? You want to go?
Oh, well, see, Craig, hold on. Craig said that's not true, Ken. I agree with you 6 months.
Oh, damn, Craig. 6 months ago.
I saw that. I know, I'm starting laughing.
Damn, thanks, Craig. You really made me feel warm and fuzzy inside now.
That's funny.
No, that's funny.
Funny.
You got me on that one. Now, go ahead, Brother Black. I want to hear. You know, I want to, because this is something that you've always said, and it's the truth.
Yeah.
It's the truth. Attractive people get away with more ish than unattractive people, and they get more than unattractive.
But Kenny, there are some unattractive people that have very attractive behaviors that can get away with somebody that's mildly attractive but have ugly behavior. See, there's degrees of separation here.
I don't think that happens as often, though. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but you're right. I don't think that happens as often, though.
And that's where I always kind of chime in with Miss Devin, because what I love about you, Miss Devin, if you're watching Lady D, you are this great advocate for women, and I love it. Don't stop, because I love that. But I always call you on it in the sense that you have to consider the source. You know what I'm saying? And I always call to the point that look at you. You know what I'm saying? Before you even open your mouth, you're going to get the benefit of the doubt because you are an attractive woman. And so that in of itself is just going to cause a man to pause more, to hear you out, versus, you know, somebody that's just not as attractive. Let's just keep it real. See, in this new friendly world that we have, or politically correct, where we ain't supposed to say midget and fat and retarded and all that type of thing. See, I don't live in that world. If you're a fat bastard, you're a fat bastard, you know. If you ugly, you're ugly. You know what I'm saying? Lizzo is not attractive. We can pretend all we want to. That fat bastard just can't get away with what you're going to get away with. Even despite her money, it might open a few doors and whatnot. But the reality is, and sorry, Lizzo, I'm just being extra dramatic about it. You might be a beautiful person, but on a more serious note, yeah, there are degrees of separation. And also a factor in there is the sign of the time. So when you talk about, you know, these younger generations, you know, that's getting away with things, you know, yeah, it matters, and behavior clicks in there too, because it's not just looks in this. You take a God-fearing woman who's dressing modestly. She's not it right now. She's not the flavor of the month right now. So if your titties ain't mushed together and popping out of your turtleneck, and you ain't bending over consistently with your ass wiggling and shaking and twerking, you know what I'm saying? Then you're not it right now. And that's a sad state of affairs, but that's why hoes are winning as well.
But
When
that
you
only gets
see
you so far,
somebody
though.
Suki with the good coochie who's bragging about the fact that she got a Maybach, when this, I almost called her something else. She ain't even all that attractive, but her behavior is allowing her to get away with, because it's the sign of the times, it's the moment we live in. And so looks, behavior, all of that matters. It actually matters.
But okay. I'm gonna get this to Kenny, but we can still conversate about it. But again, the action of the attractive woman, like, sex only takes a woman so far with a man. Like, if you introduce it to me, but then I get it 6 months later, but you getting on my nerves, it ain't the same no more. You don't get as much movement from me anymore because I done got used to it. I mean, Kenny,
You're godly and I'm not. So there's a
I
didn't used to be.
definitely see your
Did not
point,
used
brother
to be.
Britton. But it depends on how good the coochie is too.
Okay. I'm just telling y'all.
so
That's what. I'm gonna call you out the same way I call Devin out. You're coming from a place of godliness, Britton.
How so?
And when you because of what Kenny just said, for me, I don't care if she got teeth. I don't care what her hair. I don't care if her hair is long or
I don't
short.
call that godliness. I
You
just
know,
stay standards.
I'm just saying. That's another way of saying it.
Right.
You know,
right.
and so when I need a fix, my standards go way lower, because look, I just need an empty hole.
You knew what you was getting into with
Right.
Brother Blackbird.
Yes, sir. No, I did.
Yeah.
All right, Kenny. Sorry to interrupt y'all. Go ahead.
Really, I really agree with Brother Black. Again, attractive people. It's been studies even in the job world, even in employment, that attractive people tend to get the better jobs. They tend to get their foot in the door before than the less unattractive people. So in this case, in Black Love, the degrees of separation, I think men and women can attest to this too. A lot of women, they will put up with a good-looking man with his ish. If he's slaying and putting it down in the bedroom, they gonna put up with his stuff a whole lot longer than they do with an average looking dude. They will, because because attractive people just get a pass, regardless of their behavior. I know, you were saying about behavior. Obviously, the older you get, I think the more mature as men we get.
True.
Yeah,
True.
there's an attractive woman, but if her behavior is like Suki with the good coochie, I don't want no part of that. I ain't trying to be. I don't want that. No, I ain't going nowhere with you. Not at this age. Now, in my 20s, maybe I would. Hey, just for a good time, yeah. But again, choices and things that changes with maturity and wisdom as well.
I agree.
But again, so even to your point, like even money would take you further in separation than attractiveness.
Yeah, I can see that.
Right, it just depends on the person you're dealing with, right? And again, someone can overlook what they say. Jay-Z is probably one of the ugliest men that you ever meet.
Yeah, you got that bread.
That $1 million smile, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Listen, this smile don't mean nothing until you see my bank account. And then you start looking a little different, just depending on, again. So the degrees of separation just depends on what the intent of that person. Again, it's always, I guess we're always going back to intent of people.
And I love that you said that. I love that.
Right.
And this is where Miss Devin would get me if she was on here again, because here's where I took a great deal of pride in defying those odds. What you just said. In my heyday, I took a great deal of pride. That's why I got the $7 hoes. It's because even though I had the money in my pocket and I had a really nice house, I took a great deal of pride of not spending that money. I would go to shake joints. I went to shake joints 7 days a week and I never tipped. I took a great deal of pride of being able to manipulate. There's that word, Brother Kenny. To manipulate women into doing what I wanted to do without tipping them, getting them to come back to the house, playing by my rules, and damn near cheating them out of it, getting head and tail for under $20. And I took a great deal of pride in that, being able to do that, knowing all along I wasn't I've never been that guy that women saw as, oh my God, he's super. I've had my moments. Don't get me wrong. There was moments I went out. I was just right. I always smelled good because I'm real big on hygiene. And I was slimmer and this and that, but I still wasn't that, oh my God, he's super fine. I was a decent looking brother, but I took a great deal of pride in being able to get past that. I love that guys would be in a place that had more money than me, drove better cars than me, and I still dominated them, because of being able to use this up here and to know the mentality that they were looking for. So again, it's how I played the game. And here I am sitting now, 55-year-old fat man with missing teeth, still beating them hoes down when I want to.
Y'all leave this man alone,
please. My brother.
Then we said, wow, but then we wonder why relationships are the way they are. At some point, your standards has to be more important. Sex, whether good or bad, is temporary. Then what? You attract what you put out. And he know that, and that's why he just paying $7 for him. So that's okay. Oh man, y'all got time for one more? Let's get this.
Yes, sir.
Last one out there. Regrets in relationship. Kenny, when you hear that term, regrets in relationship, what does that come to mind to you?
Oh man. You wish you had a do-over.
Yeah,
it's kind of like that saying, if I knew now what I knew then,
that's right,
I would definitely do some things differently. Hindsight is 20/20. All the stuff we've heard before. In my personal experience, I can definitely talk about the regret in my marriage to my wife, my ex-wife. Peace be upon her. I didn't think we fought hard enough to keep it together.
Yeah,
I think the little things that we had issues with, they really, now that I look at it, it really wasn't that big of a deal. All we needed to do was sit down and talk it out, go to marriage counseling. I wanted to, and so that's I definitely live with that. I live with regrets and that in my marriage. Now, as far as other relationships I've had prior to my marriage,
Mhm.
no regrets at all. That was just growing up and
Mhm.
just relationship stuff. But when you married, that was something that, I thought was going to last forever, and it didn't. But I definitely wish I had a do-over with that one.
Yeah, man. That's it. Black. When you hear
Oh,
the
Miss
term regret.
Brother Kenny nailed it, and
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
where we share that similarity. I just had this conversation in New York. I did my ex-wife a great disservice. I can sit here now and say that. We got married at 21. I did not know how to be a husband. I got married. My intention was right. So my
Yeah.
intention was pure. I
Mhm.
literally married for love.
Mhm.
At that time, I was an active member of the congregation serving God. And like I said, we started out with God in our marriage. But the truth of the matter is, I didn't have the tools and I didn't have any wisdom to rely upon when things got rough. So I took the easy way out. So I have a lot of regrets, because I did what I thought I could. And at that time, I was, a decent enough husband, but I didn't have the tools to fight past the rough spots. And I'm like Kenny, I told people this before. Whenever I dream, even now, some 25 years later, and about a wife, there's only one face that shows up as the wife. That's from 25 years ago. Ironically, you can't make this up. I plan on doing a show on Thursday called Songs in the Key of Life, titled after
Stevie Wonder.
Stevie Wonder.
Yeah.
where I was listening to music over the weekend, and I'm going to use 3 songs to define 3 relationships that I have regrets over because they mean something so intently to me. Because even in other relationships, I look back and I think to myself, wow, I blew it, but again, hindsight is 2020, and I'm gonna save a little bit for that. So yeah, I have some very serious regrets when I look back at past relationships, and it scares. I'll end it with this. It terrifies me because there was another movie reference, A Bronx Tale. He told Cologino, he said, you only get 3 great ones in life. And I wonder if I used up all of my cards, so to speak, because just like I finished saying to Miss Demi, and she's so right, you get what you put out. What I'm looking for now, I wonder if I blew all of my opportunities to get somebody, and I'm aging. I don't want to necessarily be alone, but I don't want to settle.
Right.
And so Brother Kenny and I've talked about this, and it just, I don't know what the future looks like in the next 5 years. And it's very scary in a sense. On the one hand, I like being single. I like my selfish lifestyle, but let's not kid ourselves. Who wouldn't want, in a perfect world, when I got off with you brothers, to have a beautiful mate in here that gets me? Kenny says that all the time. That gets me.
Right.
Where we can finish watching the game and, that somebody have to cook for. Who wouldn't want that? Right. We all want to be loved and be liked, and it's terrifying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well put.
There's an analogy, man, that I've come to understand that I want to share with you, brothers, and then I'll share my position about regret. There's an analogy about suffering as a coffee table. How well is the coffee table? You have some that are less sturdy than others. And on this table are decisions that you have made, and those decisions are like cups. And every cup is a decision that you made, and the more you put into that cup, that means the more decisions you made about that situation. And the reality of that moment, man, for me, it talks about when Christ talks about, if this cup, if it be your will, let this cup pass from me.
Mm-hmm.
But then he makes the statement, but if I need to drink from this cup, if it be your will.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times we don't mind allowing the cup to be before us, but we don't want to drink from the lessons or the decisions that we've made. So not only will we allow the cups to sit there, but then we won't sit and drink from them to endure the decisions that we've made. And the reality is that as those decisions are continue made and the cup fills more and more up, and then you all of a sudden start making a mess of them because the table can't hold all of those decisions, and then you start making a mess of your life, and then you don't realize that I don't want to clean up this mess. Well, it's always because you didn't sit there and endure the decisions that you made. So don't just allow the cups to sit there. Have a seat and take a sip of those decisions that you made.
Bravo, my brother.
Regret.
Bravo.
This is what I feel about regret. Regret only comes when you don't have the opportunity to do better. I have an opportunity every day to do better about this little sweet thing of mine right here. She just walked up here.
That was perfect timing.
Oh man, yeah, very much so. With her hands on her hip. What you want, girl? Show. Okay, hold on. All right. So she acting like Debo. I'm gonna start talking again when you leave. No, yeah. So again, man, I've made bad decisions, but I've also had to sit here and endure them, and it's because I don't want to regret a day that I've done a disservice to that woman who decided to spend the rest of her life with me. Same with my children. I'm going to endure every decision that I've made, and I will sit here and I will drink from those cups because I don't want to make a mess of my life, just because I want to ignore these cups. And so, I do have regrets about things that I've done, but I have more good days than I do bad. And that's a great thing for me.
That's what's up.
Yeah. And so, thank you, man. I feel like Lee Black, right?
That's awesome, brother.
Yeah, man. Listen, brother, it's a perspective that I've matured to. That that's just what I do, man. And I thank God for the life that I do have, and I pray that we're able to share these truths to our children. You know what I'm saying? And so,
but you know what, Brother Brendan, before you move on?
Yeah.
I didn't have this.
Mm-hmm.
This is the value of this.
Where
else can you go?
The same thing.
Where black men are having this conversation. Black men.
Right.
Where can you go where black men are honestly opening up to have this conversation? And this was unheard of 25 years ago. And it's still hard to find even now because we have this knowledge, but we keep it in. So the value of what you're doing with this series, that somebody might see it because they're holding it in. They don't want to talk about it. But what you just said, you're imparting that level of wisdom to somebody who still don't have a chance in their relationship. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
And I want to echo what Brother Black said, Brent. I think this is dope. Again, I think black men, we already have a hard time every day in this world anyway. And we just need a place where we feel safe, that we can express ourselves and not get jumped on by our own sisters. I know they always talk about we not protecting them, but a lot of times they be coming at us and won't let us really say how we feel and feel like we can be safe and not be called all these names, red pills and all. I don't even know anything about all that. red pill and all. What is that? I'm a black pill. I'm black. I've been black all my life, so I don't know what that is. So
that's it.
So I think
black jelly bean.
This is what's needed, man. Black men, we just want to be heard. That's all. We're not saying we right. You may not agree with us, but this is who we are, and we just want a safe space where we feel like we can open up.
Man, listen, I'm only wrong until I'm right. So that is. Shoot. So, Craig, I don't know if you're trolling me and Kenny, but we'll take it. So,
I think Craig trolling.
No, I'm just messing with you. Yeah, exactly. I agree. Our men need to be celebrated more. I salute you. Thank you,
Thank
man.
you,
We
Mr.
Thank
Jimmy.
you.
We appreciate that. Much
We are-
love and respect.
We are normalizing love in a very healthy way, and so I can't do this without you fellas, and I appreciate y'all, man, for that. I definitely missed our sister. But man,
Yeah.
No
I
doubt.
think we held it down. Devin, we may have to backdoor this thing, and I'll pull up some more topics for us so that way
Right.
we can get you in. So we may backdoor this thing, depending on what's going on out here.
Right.
But this is great, man. I appreciate y'all for real for hanging out, man. Listen, final thoughts, brothers. Again, I'm gonna go back and watch this and enjoy this, and again, let's take this and just expand on it, man, and just help people to do better, right?
That's right. That's
So,
right.
Yeah. All right, Black, go ahead, man. Give me your final thoughts, man.
My final thoughts is one of appreciation. I missed you guys last week. I went home and it was a great trip. I needed a mental and physical break away from work. Got a chance to see my mom, but also on that trip, one of my friends that I had known since I was 17 years old, he had died of a brain aneurysm on Saturday. And the day I went and looked at his Facebook page, and the day before he had posted, and we don't, when I say to you, like tomorrow ain't promised to you, you know, and nobody knows the time and the hour, you know, I could use all these scriptural references, you know, and I feel sorry for his family. But my final thought in terms of appreciation is this. Thank you for providing a safe place for me to come back to. Brother Brenton, Brother Kenny, Devin, this show for me is so therapeutic that y'all have no idea, you know, and to be able to come back to a place where I feel accepted and wanted despite all of my flaws. Y'all know who I really am. I feel like I know who you really are. And we do not miss an opportunity to tell each other how we appreciate each other, because you can't get do-overs. You can't go back. Right. And so if I do leave this mortal coil, my sister's been directed to cremate me, and ain't no sense nobody hollering and hooping over what coulda, shoulda, woulda. So I just appreciate you guys, because this is a safe space for me, and I feel this is home. And I just want to thank you guys. I love you guys. Thank you.
Love you.
Yes,
too,
sir.
brother. Love you
Listen,
too,
man,
man.
if I need to come up there and eulogize you, I will.
I'll be right with him. I'll be right with him on the first plane smoking.
That's it. I refuse to let somebody lie on old Freddie Moore. They gonna lie on him, boy. Yeah. All right, Kenny, give me your final thoughts, brother.
You know, I kind of said, you know, my final thoughts just a minute ago, but I also want to say this though, to those that watch this later. You know, this was you saw three black men that had a conversation where there was no one yelling, no one screaming, no one with the theatrics. Even though we didn't agree on a certain topic, we were respectful of each other's opinions, and we talked like grown, mature black men. Can we do more of that in with Black Love? Can I see more of that in these relationship groups? Can I see that? Can we get back to loving each other? Black women, let me tell you this. I love you. I'm on your team. I'm not your enemy. We're not your enemy. You know, it takes us both. And don't act like you don't need us. Y'all need us just as much as we need y'all. So I hope that you all watch this show. Hope you continue to watch TFG Tonight, where we can bring thought-provoking Black Love series so we can make Black Love cool again. Yeah, how about that?
That's it.
Kenny, drop the mic moment, brother.
That's it. He almost made me not want to do my video now.
we got to have your video.
I gotta have my video. I ain't gonna go around my video, man. Come on now. Nah, man, listen, fantastic. And listen, yeah, we will be there for y'all, but I'm not gonna be there like y'all be looking on them Tubies and all them other TV shows. I'm not that dude. Like,
What?
I am not that dude, man. I agree with Mr. Black. Mental illness is real, and safe space is very much needed. I deal with it daily, and your show is needed. Thank you, my sister.
Thank
we
you,
appreciate you.
We appreciate that.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Listen, y'all, I want to say this, and I'm gonna ask y'all a quick question. How do y'all feel about it's not about how you start, but how you finish? Y'all believe in that?
Oh yeah.
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 Okay. All right, good. Well, hold on, Miss Tori. Let me see. Monday, Wednesday, Saturday is not the same. Oh yeah. Yeah, he do his thing. So he the hardest working man on TFG behind old Falk. But yeah, I ain't doing but one a week. I ain't got it in me.
But she said Monday, so she said, hey,
Oh,
you
my
know,
mama.
Grandma
Okay.
did it
Oh,
too.
That's right.
Yes,
Monday,
I'm in there.
yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes,
you
sir.
in there. You
Okay.
in there.
And Kenny is whenever news come, he gonna get it to you. So.
Kenny is the hardest worker. My
Yeah,
God.
man, you right. He do.
That
He
dude.
do. He do. All right, y'all. Well, listen. Let's see if that statement holds true. It's not how you start, but how you finish. Let's see.
Oh my.
She really passed out?
She passed out. Oh wow.
yes. So listen, I don't disagree that it's not how you start, but how you finish. But listen, if your relationship ain't starting like that, well, then you already running at a deficit. Listen, man, if you can't get your girl to pass out while you ask her to marry you, man, listen.
That's
Ain't no hope
true.
for you.
You
Wow.
right. You right about
Wow. Wow.
that. That's definitely thought provoking.
Wow.
Oh, man. So listen, brother, do whatever you got to do, man, to get that girl to pass out, Doc. So listen, you rather her hit that flow instead of telling you no. Uh-oh. Watch it now. All right, y'all, listen, that's Kenny, and that's Lee, and Devin will be here next week, hopefully. And we'll see y'all on Monday. Yeah, peace.
All right, peace.
Oh, I don't even have where my thing at? Oh, right there. Bye.